couple days ago, there was a vote on an amendment in the House of Representatives on allowing research of psilocybin mushrooms, MDMA, and other psychedelic drugs in the effort to understand exactly how we can use these substances to help treat things such as depression, PTSD, and onward. Now, I can tell you this from personal experience. We don't need any research. This shit's pretty cool. But that being said, the government does things differently. So here's AOC speaking on the amendment. Spoiler alert, it failed, but we'll go into that in a little bit.
New York.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I present this amendment at the desk today because for a very long period of time, the United States has and continues to uphold obsolete and old provisions from the war on drugs. This provision specifically has for a very long period of time prevented and acted as a barricade to federal research on certain substances such as psilocybin, MDMA, and marijuana.
I just want to say, personally, I think the war on drugs should be and is historically relevant and related to the history of repression of scientific advancements when it comes to people saying, oh, maybe, now hear me out here, maybe the earth revolves around the sun. Remember, you used to go to jail for suggesting such a thing? That the earth actually revolved around the sun? You used to get executed if you even hinted at the idea that perhaps, maybe, the earth is not the center of the universe. I personally would say that let's imagine an alternate universe where we had been studying things such as psilocybin mushrooms, MDMA, and onward for the last 60, 70 years. I personally think we would be significantly better off. I feel like depression and PTSD would have probably no longer be just in existence. I feel like wars would probably have not happened as much. This is a huge thing. Now, again, if you've never tried, mushrooms, for example, maybe you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, but man, this shit's amazing. And so it's a huge problem when we ban scientific research in any capacity. I think all scientific research should be allowed. Now, if you want to say, all right, maybe we shouldn't allow the drugs to be bought in stores, that's one thing. That's a whole separate, wholesale difference from saying that this drug should not be studied in any capacity whatsoever. That's ridiculous. That would be like if we had, someone discovered fossil fuels and then the government was like, sorry, can't do it. That's going to be harmful to the environment, so we're never going to use that ever. Again, would that have led to maybe alternative energy usage? Then maybe we would have had, right? But let's just, let's look at the history of scientific repression. And y'all have to understand, the war on drugs, literally, there's one reason why it started. One reason. Racism. That's it. The Nixon administration started the Controlled Substances Act. They pushed for it because, quote, they wanted to get rid of the blacks and the hippies from the voting population. That's why the war on drugs started. So we know the war on drugs started from racism. And now all of a sudden, Joe Biden, famous anti-racist, Antifa communist Joe Biden, why isn't he doing anything on this? How come the Democratic Party is upholding racism in 2021? What's going on here?
Allowing us to research the applications and potential therapeutic applications of these drugs in the treatment of diseases such as PTSD, addiction, and depression. We are long overdue in a moment of reckoning to make sure that we not only rectify the harms from the past, but allow us to research the potential medicinal applications of these substances. And the first step in doing that is ending and taking down some of these old provisional barriers to research. I reserve my time.
The gentlelady from New York.
All right, so AOC says, we got a little closer to ending this outdated war on drugs era policy last night. Last Congress, we had 83 votes. This Congress, we had 139, including 7 Republicans. We'll keep bringing it up until the times catch up. We are undeterred. So, again, I'm just letting you know, this is a huge, giant, if you've I'm not trying to suggest, by the way, that anyone participate in doing illegal drugs. That's not what I'm trying to suggest whatsoever. What I'm trying to suggest is that science is different from recreation. If you want to go out there and surf and then whoa, that's a whole different thing from if you're trying to I don't know why I picked surfing. That was a bad analogy, but if you're out there cooking for food, like if you're just eating, dinner, that's different from trying to, like, scientifically decide what the most nutritious meal is, what the most balanced way of cooking it is, right? Science is different from recreation. Recreation is fun, it can be cool, and it should be allowed in its own right. That being said, science is a different ballgame. To ban scientific research is ludicrous. It is ludicrous, folks. That would be like abolishing NASA because, the space travel is scary. So, boom, automatically space travel's banned because it's too scary. It doesn't make any fucking sense, folks. And so I wanted to provide a follow-up on this one. Significantly more yes votes than the last session of Congress. I'm hoping that in the next midterm election we get some more movement on this, because this is one of, in my opinion, now again, it's possible because, I'm a freak show, but in my opinion, this is one of the most important things that we can do as a society. I think personally it's up there with climate change. I think it's up there with Medicare for all. I think it's up there. I personally do, and that's just my opinion, because as someone with various mental illnesses, depression, anxiety, that kind of stuff, these substances have helped me tremendously. I know a lot of other people that they've helped therapeutically, and the idea that they are banned from research while the big pharmaceutical companies mass manufacture SSRIs that just destroy your brain and not even allow you to feel any emotions whatsoever, to me that's a problem. And it just shows that America is still extremely racist. This only started because of racism. Literally, the founders and the architects of the drug war are on the books. They're on record. You can go look it up. It's official White House memos. The blacks and the hippies. That's why they created the war on drugs. And we need to understand that. So there is absolutely zero defense for banning scientific research of anything. That's my official opinion on that one.